timing matters. And the reason I want to send this right now is if you take this playbook and implement it, starting right now, the likelihood of the numbers sounding like that, it's high. The way this doesn't work is when you do this at the wrong time. It's really difficult because the investors that invest with you never invest with you again, and you have to start again, and that's part of the game. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to talk about the magical number. What used to be $1 million is now 10 million. So the question is, how do you make $10 million in this game of capital raising, real estate, private equity? Now, everybody has a different path to this, and I've changed my paths and what I would suggest people do along the way. But I think I got a pretty good suggestion, and it's not easy to make $10 million in real estate. I mean, that's one of the reasons so many people are eager to listen to this episode right now. But I'll tell you exactly what I would do if I was starting right now, okay? Now, in this, it's going to assume a couple things. Number one, that you're in a first world country. Number two, you've got access to the internet. But honestly, man, I think that's pretty much about it. I think you can probably do it as long as you have the internet, especially if you speak English as a first language. This is all possible. It's not probable, it's possible. And this is going to give you the best shot, okay? Number one, first thing I would do, no matter what, starting right now, go all in on books, podcasts, YouTube, become completely obsessed with the language, the foundation, understanding the nuances of the industry and whatever industry you're in, and going all in. Now, when you do that, you're going to uncover there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of different perspectives. There's different asset classes, different risk profiles. Some people only do and invest in development. Some people will never invest in development. Some people only want to acquire existing businesses. Some people only want to acquire existing businesses that are cosmetic surgery, right? So like, you got to think about what niche you're going to go with, but rather than think about the niche, while you're going through this process of going all in on free content like books, podcasts, YouTube, etc., what I'm really looking for, if I'm in your position, is to find one person that I deeply resonate with that has accomplished pretty much exactly what you want to accomplish. This is a way to siphon out and filter out all the noise so that you're not going to be a watered down version of a lot of people, because I have interviewed many people on my show. People that have done hotels, people have done self-storage, people that have done crypto funds. And the only thing I found that isn't a path to success is being uncertain and unsure of yourself in terms of the direction you want to go. So I don't want people to be overwhelmed by the noise and the number of perspectives out there. It's really important to start broad and then find one person and go all in on their view, their entire perspective, their playbook, go for it. Now, the next piece of this is that eventually, after you've started broad, then identified that person and gone down the rabbit hole, your learning curve will start to flatten out, because there's only so much you can get with information, particularly free information, but just generally speaking, there's only so much you can get with information generally. Over the last couple of years, the online education space has really blown the roof off of what's available for free, but people quickly find out that initial jump and boost of excitement tapers off when you kind of figure out as much as you can figure out with actually out a relationship or network or actually doing deals, which is the next step, which is to pay, and sometimes significantly, for access to that person. I mean, this can be the ultimate time warp in your business to pay a lot of money, 5 figures, multiple 5 figures, whatever it is, to be into a coaching program, a mastermind, etc. Now, many of you know I run one of these, so this sounds self-serving, but it doesn't have to be me. You just got to pick someone and go all in. But there's more to it than that, okay? Just being part of a mastermind isn't going to get you results. You've got to be super active in the community. And this, my friends, if you're starting out, this is basically free. Once you pay to be involved in something, there are standout members of every community. And I've been a part of many of them, some of which I've not participated in, some of which I've been like the star pupil of. So you got to make that decision, go in with that intensity. How can I be a total rock star in this community? Some of the best ways to do that is commit to a certain cadence for booking calls and following up with people in the community. Another is finding out how to be a connector and helping other people out. Another is trying to build a relationship with the founder by generating massive case studies and success stories for the company. The easiest way to do that is you yourself implement what they teach and crush it. Another one is become a coach for that respective community. Now, just for context, this is a playbook that is tried and true. And in Raise Masters, sometimes people come and say, hey, I want to be a coach for Raise Masters. Like, yeah, well, no kidding. Like that's a very common thing. Of course, there's a line of people that want to do that. But depending on what the community is, there is certainly an opportunity to work your way up in that regard. Okay. Now, if you're starting from basically nothing, like in Raise Masters, for example, our coaches usually have done hundreds of millions or billions of dollars of deals. So you can't go from nothing and then become a coach at Raise Masters, but you get where I'm going with this. If you then take those relationships, your intense obsession, your understanding, your foundational knowledge, and go out to the marketplace and look for a job, especially leveraging those relationships, you can take a job in the industry you want, usually in the 60 to 80K range plus a bonus if you're working in like investor relations. And this is my playbook to make $10 million is go free podcast, join a mastermind, pay whatever. If you have a $25,000 net worth, you got nothing to lose. Pay $25,000 for a mastermind. I seriously believe that, by the way, not financial advice, but that's exactly what I would do. Then the goal is to leverage this high caliber mastermind that you're in to like leapfrog into getting a job paying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, which would be like, starting in the industry at that time. From there, the easiest path is now you've got a group that's paying you, you're on income, right? They're most of the time, the founders of the company are not making a ton of income. They're basically fully reliant on performance when they sell deals, but you would have a W-2 income at that point. And then you leverage their track record to start raising capital. Now, somebody may ask, well, wait a minute, how am I going to structure this? Who cares? What really matters is that you're in the game. You're making money on a salary, but you've got a group with a track record that you work for. You can start having conversations with friends and family and expanding from them, raising money for their deals. And you don't even have to get a ton of compensation for doing this. Maybe you have a bonus, and so maybe you're bonused out based on number of assets acquired or assets under management acquired while you work there. So you're incentivized to do this, but the point is you're starting to get the muscle memory on someone else's dime. Plus, you're not waiting to be paid off in year 5 like most co-GPs and capital partners are. This is like an ultimate hack of this industry. Now, as you keep doing this, it's a very good idea to start building your personal brand. Why? Because it's always a good idea to be building your personal brand. Now you may think, well, wait a minute, Hunter, my employer is not going to like this very much because I'm supposed to be working for them. Well, if all your effort is spent building a personal brand to attract investors to raise money for their deals, and you're really not even asking for much in return in terms of compensation other than your bonus that you already negotiated, it's basically free money for them. And they're trying to realize, wait a minute, I'm creating a monster that works for me and raises money for my deals basically for free. Now, of course, what's going to happen is as you develop the skill, and hopefully you're obsessed with this podcast here, learning the art and science of raising money, you're going to be bringing a lot of value to this company. And when that starts to happen, now the negotiation power starts to change. And if you can actually implement this, maybe you can negotiate, hey, listen, I'm on this W-2, but I want my bonus to include a larger percentage based on acquired value. I want to be treated as a co-GP. I'm not asking for the normal treatment as a co-GP because we all understand I'm already on a salary, but I'd like to play a bigger role if I'm able to bring significant value. And what does that mean? It's different for every company. So whether it's $500,000 per deal or $1 million per deal, if you're starting to hit numbers like this, if you work for us, for example, we would certainly be encouraged to try to find a way to keep you around and keep you on salary and keep the show going. And the more money you raise, the more you would probably be incentivized to angle that to have more GP economics, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a really important thing that I didn't do when I got started. It is exactly what I would do right now if I was trying to get started. And what ends up happening is that if you continue to do this, you're going to learn intimate details about how to run one of these businesses. You're not going to deal with the track record question because you're relying on someone else's track record. You don't even have to deal with the fund of funds and co-GP structure because you are part of the group. You're an employee to the group. And the goal is not really to make money from the money you're raising. It's really to get the muscle memory going and also make your audience know that you're in the business of knowing what to do. And at a certain point, and my view is as fast as you want to, as fast as it makes sense for you financially, you separate out and start doing your own deals. And when this happens, at this point, you'll have the knowledge, you'll have a network you built from your personal brand. You will not have done your first deal yet, but you'll be able to streamline that in one of many ways I've talked before on this show. And when you do that, you are in a very different situation in terms of, how long it took me to get to where I am today. I think this would be way more streamlined. But once you start raising money and buying your own deals, your most underwriting models will show you making around 30% of what you raise as a GP. Now, you should probably bring on a partner that focuses on operations. If you listen to this show, I know you probably want to focus on capital raising, so it's like you raise certain money, you get 30% of what you raise, but there's two of you, so maybe you split it 50-50. You can see it's going to take a lot of money to get to where you want to go. But from my perspective, this is what it looks like. By the time you raise $60 to $80 million, you probably did it. So what do I mean by that? If you raise $60 million and you get 30% of what you raised, that would be $18 million. Let's say you split that 50-50 with a partner. After the deal go full cycle, that's $9 million. If it's $80 million, you get 30% of that, that's $24 million. You split that 50-50 with a partner, that's $12 million. Now you might be thinking, Hunter, but it's going to take years. Yeah, it's going to take years. But that's only the first time you do it. So how many years is it going to take you to raise 60 or 80 million bucks? Okay, cool. But that's if you do it once. So what's to stop you from doing it again? And I'll tell you what's to stop you from it is doing a bunch of bad deals. And so timing matters. And the reason I want to send this right now is if you take this playbook and implement it starting right now, the likelihood of the numbers sounding like that, it's high. I mean, I'm not making an income claim. You guys know I don't do that. But the way this doesn't work is when you do this at the wrong time, it's really difficult because the investors that invest with you never invest with you again, and you have to start again, and that's part of the game too. But when you start at the right time, it's a very, 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 very different experience. We're in a very unique opportunity right now where, generally speaking, businesses are doing well. Market has been completely destroyed, but there's still great real estate companies and private equity groups out there hiring, and that's the exact playbook I would do to make my first 10 million in real estate or private equity. Hope that helps.